As you relax and begin to focus more deeply on what is going on around you, you might notice how effortlessly your mind can absorb and process new ideas. It's almost as if, with every breath, you're allowing yourself to expand just a little more, and to accept what serves you, and to let go of what no longer serves you. And as you settle into this space, imagine how it would feel to step into a place of complete freedom. Freedom that flows effortlessly, without force. You no longer need to explain yourself to anyone. Because of course, when you think about it, you'll realize there's something very powerful in the act of simply being. Being who you are. Doing what you do. Without having to justify it. Without needing anyone to understand or approve. You see, as you allow yourself to feel this freedom, you begin to notice just how easy it is to recognize. Your choices are yours alone, and with that, there's a natural sense of confidence that emerges from deep within. A confidence that doesn't need to explain itself. In fact, there's a part of you deep down that knows that explaining it's a choice. Just like anything else, it's a choice that can be made when it aligns with your values, your purpose, your intentions. But it's a choice, not a requirement. And as you embrace this idea, you might begin to realize, just like that you already know when it's appropriate to share, to communicate, to explain. And just as effortlessly, you know when it's simply not necessary. Because you are someone who knows their own truth. You've always known it, even in those moments when you might have questioned yourself. Because deep down, you can trust that you know exactly what to say, when to say it, and whether or not to say anything at all. You begin to understand sometimes silence speaks volumes. And with every silence, there's a subtle, unspoken communication that goes beyond words, that reaches a level of understanding that words often fail to capture. And as you feel that sense of inner peace, you begin to realize that people around you can feel that too. They can sense your confidence, your ease, your certainty in your own choices, and they respect that. It's almost as if they know, on some deeper level, that you don't need their approval, because you already have your own. And with that understanding, there's a softening that occurs, an ease in your relationships, an effortless flow of connection. And when you think about it, doesn't it make sense? Doesn't it feel right to let go of the weight of unnecessary explanations, of seeking validation that you've never really needed? When you realize the only person who truly needs to understand your choices is you, it becomes so much easier to step into that space of personal power, unshakable, confident, free. What if, just for a moment, you allow yourself to feel how effortless it is to stand in that power, to simply be, to act, to make decisions without needing to explain them. And as you step into that space, you begin to notice how much lighter you feel. You may even find yourself smiling just a little bit more, knowing you don't need anyone to tell you what you already know. You don't need anyone's approval, because your own sense of self, your own inner compass, it guides you with perfect clarity. Imagine how it would feel every day to trust that this truth is always with you, that every decision you make flows from a place of self-assurance, a deep knowing of your own worth, and in that space, you'll notice how others begin to respect that, without you ever even needing to say a word. It's almost as if, as they pick up on it, feel it, sense it, and in that deep, unspoken understanding, you discover your words have far more power, far more impact, when they come from a place of certainty. And in those rare moments, when you choose to explain, when you choose to share, you do so with ease, knowing that your words, they're simply a reflection of your inner knowing, a reflection of your strength, your clarity. And when you don't explain, you do so with as much ease, because you realize your choices are yours, and theirs are theirs. And what matters most is how you feel in your own skin. You align with your own values, your goals, your deeper purpose. Now, as you continue to drift deeper into this understanding, Notice how all of this becomes easier and easier. The idea of needing to explain yourself, of seeking approval, it begins to feel like a distant memory. Something that used to be important, but now simply fades away. And in its place, something new takes root. A deep, unshakable confidence that your worth, it isn't determined by anyone else's opinion. Your worth, it's inherent. Your choices are valid. And all you need is already within you. You already have everything you need to move forward, free from the weight of unnecessary explanations. And the more you think about it, the more you feel that deep sense of freedom washing over you, as if a burden is lifting, leaving you light and free, with nothing but possibility ahead of you. You don't need to explain, you just need to be. And in being, you discover the limitless potential that's always been within you. It's almost like breathing in fresh air, effortless, natural, and essential. With every breath, you feel more empowered. With every breath, you trust yourself more. And with every breath, you step further into the reality where explanations they no longer hold power over you. You are the author of your own story. You are the creator of your own experience. And in that, there's a peace, there's a freedom, there's a confidence. You can feel it now, can't you? The peace, the calm, the quiet knowing. It's all yours. And as you move forward, you'll find it easier and easier to trust. You don't need to explain yourself. The power is in your own hands, in your own heart, and in your own mind. You're free, you're whole, and you are enough. And as you continue to relax, there's a sense of quiet comfort that begins to wrap around you. A sense of deep inner knowing that everything you need is already inside of you. You may not even need to think about it consciously, yet with each passing moment, you feel more deeply connected to this truth. It's as if your unconscious mind is quietly but persistently reminding you that you don't need to explain yourself to anyone. You don't need their approval, because the approval that you seek comes naturally from within. And isn't it fascinating how easy it can be to let go of old patterns of seeking validation, almost as though you've always known this truth on some deeper level, even in those moments when you might have felt the urge to explain. But now with each breath, you're starting to notice how it feels to trust your own judgment without hesitation, without needing anything from anyone else. You're the one who knows best what's right for you. And as you reflect on it, you begin to see how effortlessly you can choose how you express yourself, how you move through the world, without the pressure to explain. You are, after all, the creator of your own experiences. The more you trust in this truth, the more natural your behaviour aligns with your authentic self. There's no need to justify, because your actions are already aligned with your values, your purpose, your essence. Can you feel how liberating that is? The freedom that flows from simply knowing that everything that you need to communicate, you already know how to communicate. Through words, through gestures, through your very presence. It's all a reflection of your inner certainty. In fact, imagine now, just for a moment, how it might feel when you are around others who do not require an explanation from you. Isn't it curious how they, too, can feel the quiet confidence that you exude? They sense that you're in control, not in a forceful way, but in a calm, centered way, where your sense of self is undeniable, where your actions and words resonate with clarity and power. And without you even trying, they respect that. It's as though they instinctively understand that you don't need to explain. And that unspoken understanding is all it takes for them to realize that you trust yourself completely. You might even notice how, as you continue to relax and focus, your mind becomes more attuned to this subtle but powerful shift. That old urge to explain, to justify, to seek approval, simply dissolves. It fades away, like the last remnants of fog on a bright morning, disappearing, evaporating, as clarity emerges. And now, with that clarity, you begin to sense how effortless it is to simply be yourself, to be authentic, to trust that your choices, they're valid, no matter what anyone else thinks or says. Because after all, they're your choices, aren't they? And perhaps in these quiet moments of understanding, you begin to realize the less you need to explain, the more powerful your presence becomes. There's a kind of magnetic energy that emanates from you when you're fully aligned with your own truth. It's almost as if the world around you starts to reflect this sense of inner knowing, this deep sense of certainty. As you relax even further, you might begin to notice you've always had the power inside you. It's always been there, waiting for you to realize just how strong, how capable, and how free you truly are. The more you focus on this, the more you can sense how easily you move through the world with this quiet assurance, knowing that when you don't need to explain yourself, it's not because you're hiding or withholding, but because you simply know you are enough just as you are. And this knowing, this deep truth, it's all you need. It's almost as if you can feel in every fibre of your being how each moment of not explaining, it's a moment of profound liberation. It's a reminder that your worth, your power, it's intrinsic. You don't need anyone else's validation, because it was never theirs to give. You don't need to explain yourself, because the more you stand in your uncertainty, the more others can see that truth reflected in you. There's something so natural, so easy about simply being, about allowing yourself to be exactly who you are, without needing to fill the space with words that only take away from the richness of your experience. You may find yourself noticing with great ease how much more effortless it becomes to trust your intuition. Your decisions, your actions, your responses, they all begin to come from a place of inner knowing, free from doubt or over-explanation. Every time you choose to not explain, you reinforce the sense of power. And with every time that you choose to stand firm in your truth, you feel more and more confident, more and more clear. It's as though your mind, your body, and your heart, they're all working in unison, affirming to you that you're worthy of that confidence, that trust. And it's amazing, isn't it? How as this new belief takes root in your mind, everything begins to shift, both inside and outside. You no longer feel the need to justify your actions, because you understand, on a deeply unconscious level, that your actions, they're simply yours, and that's enough. You know that your worth is inherent, and because of that, it becomes second nature for you to walk through the world, secure in the knowledge that you are the source of your own approval. You might notice, too, how the people around you, they seem to become more accepting, more attuned to your unspoken power, more respectful of your space. It's almost as though they instinctively recognize that you've stepped into a new way of being. And when you realize how much easier it is to stand your ground in peace, without feeling the need to explain, you can smile to yourself and acknowledge that this is the way you were always meant to be. And just like that, it becomes even easier to trust. This new understanding is now a permanent part of you. This belief, it's embedded itself deeply in your unconscious mind, settling in as naturally as your own breath. Every time you exhale, you let go of any remaining tension or doubt. On each inhale, you feel the certainty of this truth growing stronger and stronger. You don't need to explain yourself. And with that, you step into your full power naturally, effortlessly, with every passing moment. As this new belief continues to integrate, your life becomes lighter, freer, and more aligned with your true essence. You don't need validation. You don't need explanations. You are enough just as you are. Your choices, your actions, your presence, they speak louder than any words ever could. And the more you allow this truth to settle in, the more powerful your presence becomes, creating space for those around you to respect and to honour that same freedom. So as you continue to relax even more deeply now, you might begin to notice the deeper you go, the more naturally you feel aligned with your own truth. And as this deeper alignment settles, you may begin to realize just how effortlessly it is to trust yourself, to trust your decisions, to trust you already know what's best for you. You know you don't need to explain yourself to anyone, because you're beginning to sense deep down that your own approval, your own inner wisdom, it's all that truly matters. It's almost as if your mind is naturally rewiring itself, adjusting to this new way of thinking, and every passing moment simply reinforces this truth, that your actions, your choices, they're perfectly valid, because they're yours. And now, as you relax even further, you might find yourself reflecting on how easy it is to let go of the old pattern of needing others to understand, of seeking approval outside of yourself. Because the more you trust your inner wisdom, the more you feel deeply confident in your choices. And the confidence grows naturally, effortlessly, almost like a flower blooming quietly and steadily. You don't need to explain yourself to anyone, because just like that, you realize your presence, your being is enough. When you allow yourself to simply be who you are, you're sending out a powerful message to the world around you. And that message is received, not through words, but through the quiet certainty that you exude. You don't have to say a thing for people to sense that you're whole, that you're grounded in your own truth. They can feel it, can't they? And it feels so natural, so right. When you stand in your power, that's all that's needed. You might even notice how, with each breath, you feel this belief, this deep knowing, becoming more and more deeply embedded in your unconscious mind. It's like it's been woven into the fabric of your thoughts and behaviours. So naturally, you no longer need to consciously think about it. Every time you choose not to explain yourself, it feels more effortless, more comfortable, more empowering. And every time you do this, you feel a sense of freedom and liberation that only reinforces the belief that you don't need anyone's validation. Your actions speak for themselves. And as you allow this belief to sink deeper and deeper, it becomes more and more automatic for you to trust yourself without hesitation. The need to explain, the need to justify, the need to prove yourself, all of that fades into the background, as if it were never there. And in its place, there's only the truth. You know what's best for you. You trust yourself fully, and you're free. What's even more powerful is how you begin to notice almost effortlessly that when you stand in this place of personal power, others start to respect that. There's no need to demand respect, no need to force anything. It's almost like people, they just naturally begin to sense. You don't require their approval. You don't need them to understand you. And when they sense that, they relax. They respect your space, your choices, your wisdom. It's an unspoken exchange. And as this becomes clearer to you, it becomes even easier to realize you don't need to justify anything. When you realize your choices are already aligned with your deeper sense of purpose, your authenticity, there's a part of you that feels more relaxed, more at ease. It's as though, with each breath, a sense of calm assurance settles in, because you know deep down that you are living in alignment with who you are. You are enough. You are complete. And there's nothing you need to explain. Now, with this new understanding, you might notice something even more profound happening. As you begin to feel how easy it is to trust yourself more deeply, you start to notice the need for explanations begins to dissolve in other areas of your life as well. Relationships, decisions, conversations. You find yourself becoming more and more aligned with your own inner compass. There's no need to prove anything, no need to defend anything. You simply are. It feels so good, doesn't it? So effortless. And with each breath, the more this truth becomes a reality. You're more than enough, and your choices, they're always valid. You can feel it, can't you? That deep, inherent understanding. There's no need for anyone else's approval, because in the end, the only person whose opinion matters is your own. When you accept that, when you truly, fully accept that, you'll feel an even deeper sense of peace. You may even begin to notice, with every passing day, how your self-trust deepens and strengthens. The more you trust yourself, the more you let go of the need to explain, the more confident and at ease you become. The power of your presence becomes undeniable, and others begin to feel that too. They feel the calm, the certainty, the unshakable confidence that you exude naturally. And as that confidence grows, so too does your freedom, because the less you feel the need to explain, the more liberated you feel to simply be. You've always known on some level. You didn't need to explain yourself to anyone. And now, that knowing has become a part of you, a part of your very identity. It's like breathing in and out, effortlessly and naturally. And as you continue to breathe, you can feel your unconscious mind reinforcing this powerful belief with every inhalation, with every exhalation. The old patterns of doubt, justification and explanation, they simply fall away, leaving room for the new truth to settle deep within you. And as this truth settles, you begin to realize that not explaining doesn't mean that you're distant or unavailable. It simply means that you trust yourself and your actions. They're guided by your deeper wisdom. You can feel how empowering it is, and it's becoming so natural, so instinctive. It feels as though it's been a part of you all along. You don't need to explain yourself to anyone. Your choices are valid. Your actions are aligned with your highest self. And the more that you embrace this, the more natural it becomes. A way of being, a way of moving through the world with unshakable confidence, peace and freedom. Your presence speaks volume, without you needing to say a word. So now, as you continue to relax and to breathe, notice how easily this belief becomes your reality. Every breath, every thought, every action reinforces the power of your trust. You are whole. You are enough. You are free to be yourself without explanation. And with that truth, you begin to feel the full force of your own power, standing tall, standing strong, and standing confident in who you are.